as regarding law and attraction, the law of attraction. Now, you were talking about parenting earlier, and immediately my mind, got to the part where, or to situations where some parents actually have this particular child that they tend to call like the bad egg. Every other children that they have are doing very well behaved, but there's just this one who seems to be, the headache of the family. So what kind of attraction do we call that when every other, yeah, okay.
Yeah, good question. Very good one. Good observation. So that's definitely not, well, we can't be definite. That doesn't look like it was attracted because it doesn't fall in place, right? Every other child is, yeah, this is my child, but this one seemed like my wife. Come and explain where you got this from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, as we are coming to this world, remember that we are interwoven. We are not just by ourselves. We are connected like the thread of the cloth is connected, interwoven into one another, so that we all form the big picture, which is the shirt, each of us being a thread. The minute we are no longer interconnected and we are alone by ourselves in terms of our relationship, our destiny, our interconnection, and work for the universe to form the big picture, then we'll be removed and thrown out. We are no longer part of that. We must remain interconnected, like you will not see any loose thread right now here. Every thread is interconnected with its neighbor, and everything is running so smoothly to form this big picture. We are not perfect as humans on earth. Every time maybe not every time, even right now as we are on earth, among so many things, even in the practice of principle that we are pursuing, one major thing is that we are trying to improve on at least one, maybe multiple area of deficiency. Even before we came into the world, we're not perfect. So part of this journey should make us, if we're scoring 30% on the perfection scale, at least we should be able to score some 31, 32% by the time we are done here.
Okay.
So there is always something that we are not perfect about that we want to improve. For example, patience. So part of our sojourn here is, this time I want to learn patience and improve in my patience, or tolerance, or what this word for human, you feel for a fellow human being, you feel so
Empathy.
much for another. Empathy, yeah. So you want to feel empathy, maybe, yeah. So because we need to improve in that area, again, empathy cannot be created and won on us. We have to learn and overcome it, and it becomes part of us. Therefore, to build that, something is deliberately put in our life that we may not necessarily have attracted, but deliberately put there to help us build that virtue. Yeah, that's why I said earlier on, you may not have caught it, but I said earlier on that we either attract, or this was what I meant. So some things we necessarily have not attracted, but it has to be there to build us, to make us a better us in the area of relationship with other humans, in the area of tolerance, in the area, I don't know, could be any of the, or a combination of all of them, or even in the area of you need to love more. You are discriminating in how you love. You love only certain people. We need to teach you how to love all people equally. Therefore, this is your what was it called? What did Paul call it in the New Testament? So this is your own.
Turn on the flesh.
Yes, yes. So this is your own turn on the flesh to help you become.
Okay.
All right. So aside all of this other glamour, we want happiness, we want this, we want that. Beyond all of this, we are still developing ourselves to become perfect. You must develop yourself in all areas. No area must be left undeveloped. Otherwise, you are not perfect. So this turn is deliberately placed there to help you develop. And then, of course, we see it as, oh, I have a perfect life, but for this problem. I have a beautiful life, but for this challenge. I have a this, but for this. There's always this but. But that but is a major career builder, spiritual career builder for us. So, as much as we are looking for happy ever after kind of life, there would always be something that we should learn to embrace as part of life. And then once we have learned that lesson, I will become one. That struggle of, it's not my childhood. And then we become one with we would have learned. When we become one, we are no longer struggling. That friction of is different. We become one. Whether as a result of we have put in so much of our positive energy to correct that situation, and we, by our own access to knowledge, to power, we have brought that situation to equilibrium, or we have not successfully done that, but we have come to reach equilibrium with the situation, and therefore that struggle and that we are now buoyant. We are now riding with the waves of nature. Okay. However we see it, as long as that friction and that but is no longer there, we have come to accept it. Then we should have learned the lesson. And until such time, it should continue to, and we all have it. It's just that some people focus so much on it and see it as a major problem. For somebody else, you would have seen it as part of life and therefore taking it as well. It's no big deal. And therefore, you don't really see it as a major problem. I don't know if you got that.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, I had issues with somebody at one time for a long period of time.
Okay.
And then I was saying to myself, this person should know better. Why would this person do this? And then I had this friction. Maybe you call it unforgiving. I just had this friction of, it shouldn't be. Why is this a thorn on my flesh? Why can't everything be perfect? All right. And then I struggled with that for a long time. And then I was taught this thing that I'm sharing about. Suppose this person was deliberately put in your life to retard you and stop your acceleration to this particular goal that you are really driving at, and for which you feel that this person is a hindrance. Suppose the real reason this person was put there was to really help you slow down. Suppose this person is just performing their role in your life. So why don't you just see it from that perspective? And then I relaxed a little and saw it from that perspective. And then my whole perception of this person is a challenge, this person is a disturbance, this person, it just changed. And then as if that was not enough, then I was also taught, okay, now this person, if your child was behaving like this, how would you treat your child? I said, my child is my child. No matter how I treat my child, I definitely would not give up. I would take it up as my responsibility to make sure, I mean, the love for a child is cannot be
Quantified, yeah.
quantified, cannot be, bargained. It's just there, it's just there. So when the question was presented, if your child was in this situation, what would you do? And then my answer was, no matter what it is, I will not leave. I will stay. Okay, then consider this person your child. Oh, from this big status, I just consider this person my child? Yes. And that just changed the whole perception. So I stopped seeing that person as a problem, as a challenge, as a hindrance, and now identified with that person. And therefore, almost right away, life just became normal for me. The unforgiving and all of the struggle that I had trying to accommodate that person, I mean, just seeing this person now as, it was like literally taking this person's hand and handing over this person to me and saying, be in charge, be the earthly manager of this person. You can't run away. Oh yeah, take and begin to manage this person. That just changed my perception. And then once my perception changed, it ceased being a problem. I now see this person as one with me. And therefore, the things that I should have been quarreling and agitated about, I now saw it as my responsibility to even be the one to calm the situation. So it happens. It just depends on how we see it. With knowledge, nothing is too difficult for us to bear. We'll bear it so well that, I mean, once it's, like I always say, it's all about understanding. Once it is explained to you, like how this one was explained to me, and I understood and began to see, oh, this person that I thought was my enemy is actually somebody in my camp that I should be nurturing and bringing up as a disciple. In fact, as a child, like I would treat a child. If I keep giving an example of if a child does something, you don't
push the child away.
Yeah, you see. So you'd always give the child another chance. And I mean, even if you smack the child with your right, you still draw him close with your left. So once you begin to see situations like that, and that is what situations require you to see. Once you see them like that, they are no longer the enemy that they used to be. They are now, oh, he's treating me like a child. The situation will now appear and portray themselves to you as your child. Your child is your child. There's a difference between how your enemy, somebody you perceive as an enemy, will relate to you, and somebody you perceive as a child will relate to you. And over time, you just see that friction is just gone and everything is one, and then you would have learned your lesson. Now I know that if I have situations like that, I don't have to be taught all over as to how to deal with it. I just bring that person from that high level that I used to put them to the low level where I not treat them as my child or as somebody who is ignorant, and not as somebody who, because I expect them to know, therefore they know. I just bring it to and treat them like this. And then love would always flow in from me to my child, from a father, from a parent to child. So as long as love will always flow, anybody you bring to that level, and love conquers all things. What is it that love cannot conquer? There is nothing. Once you allow love to flow, because at that level, you are blocking the flow of love. I say, no, you don't deserve it, you did. But once you allow love to flow, everything will automatically be. Yes, so those situations were deliberately put there to help you build, to become the better you.
Now, these principles actually, as beautiful, as wonderful as they sound, making us better people, don't you think one way or another, it makes us a bit gullible? Like, don't you think that it makes us not see things or people for who they truly are sometimes? Like, we could just end up falling into some pits we could avoid in the name of trying to be really loving. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it is because you are thinking that you are the one guiding yourself. You are not the one guiding yourself when you practice principle. The only one thing you need to do is practice principle. Give with good heart and see that you solve as many problems around you as you have the capacity for. It is not for you to look for pit, make sure that the pit is not there before you jump. How many can you see?
But we're still advised that we should be wise in what we're doing. Application of wisdom.
Where do you get the wisdom from? Where do you get it from? You should be wise, but where do you get it from? So it's the
From
same
knowledge.
thing. So leave everything to knowledge. Knowledge will take care of it.
Yeah, like because I know certain things, I should be able to avoid certain pitfalls or certain pitholes, and not assume that, because there is this principle that says this, therefore I should, let loose of my guards.
No, you are not letting loose of guard. Okay, maybe we are talking on two opposite sides. When you say let loose of guard, you are cautious, you are wise, you are talking sensually. You are using your senses. You are talking about what you can do in the material. And you are very, very, very limited. Because the weapon of your warfare is not carnal, it's not material. How many can you see? You don't see, you are blind actually, materially. It is only by knowledge that you can be lifted to the place where you have access to power, to wisdom. And what elevates you into that knowledge is practice of principle. So these are spiritual matters. They are not things, when it comes into spiritual matter, you are not all vigilant looking for